your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Adam Cellini. Topping our news tonight, the music world mourning the death of rock legend Gregg Allman, a founding member of the Allman Brothers Band. He died in his Georgia home Saturday at the age of 69. While Allman was an icon of Southern rock, many could see him roaming the sidewalks of Anna Maria Island as a resident for several years. ABC7's Erica Jackson joins us live from the Van Wezel to explain how Allman inspired musicians and now annual events right here in our area. Erica?
Good evening. Gregg Allman performed sold-out shows here at the Van Wezel at the Sailor Circus Arena and also put the annual Sarasota Blues Fest on the map. And he lived on Anna Maria Island in the early 70s, and residents would see him at old spots like the Orr House in Bradenton Beach and the High Seas restaurant on the Palmasola Causeway. And still today, bandmates and family members in the area are mourning Allman's death, including bandmate Dickie Betts and the son of bass player Barry Oakley, who also passed away. A local entertainment producer who knew Gregg Allman personally says his legacy can still be seen and heard around the Suncoast.
If you go out and hear any of the local music, and there's such great local music in this town, every band, I would imagine, would say the Allman Brothers had some kind of influence on them.
Another music legend sharing their heartbreak on Twitter, his ex-wife Cher simply writing, "I've tried, words are impossible." And now Cher wasn't the only woman he had a romantic relationship with in the 70s. An I Live native and the rocker apparently shared a brief fling for some time in the 70s. And we'll tell you more about the rocker's ties to the Suncoast tonight at 11. Reporting live at the Van Wezel, I'm Erica Jackson. Adam, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Erica. In other news, a home in Sarasota in need of repairs tonight after a truck drove into it this afternoon. It happened on the 2800 block of Oak Street near Tuttle Avenue. Police say the driver swerved to avoid hitting a dog, lost control, and slammed through the window into the living room of this home. The driver was not injured and no one was in the house at the time of that accident. Probably outside enjoying the lovely weather we had today. So let's head over to Steve Newman for a check on that weather. Steve?
Oh, Adam, it was great. I was out at the beach for a couple hours this morning. Just loved it. The water's clear. It hasn't murkied up like it gets late in the summer. Perfect day for the beach. High pressure and control, things will not change till it fades away, and it will fade away this week. And we'll see a return of rain, but not a Memorial Day. Plenty of sunshine forecast, not only for tomorrow, but a little bit of Tuesday, too. Here's our short-term futurecast. Takes us through the night with that sea breeze coming in. Just a few clouds passing by from time to time, but certainly no chance of rain right on through your Memorial Day tomorrow. And here's your temperature forecast through the overnight hours, showing we'll cool off from the mid-80s now to the mid-70s toward dawn, and tomorrow another sunny and warm day. The complete forecast, and I'll tell you when it's going to rain again in just a few minutes. Adam?
All right, thank you, Steve. The holiday weekend shattered by gunshots in Mississippi. A killing spree leaving 8 people dead and a suspect in custody. The murder shocking that small rural community. ABC's Chuck Severson has the latest.
Suicide by cop was my intention.
Massacre in Mississippi. An accused killer's chilling confession on camera.
My intentions was to have y'all to kill me. I ran out of bullets.
35-year-old Willie Corey Godbolt, seen here right after his arrest, bleeding and in handcuffs, talking to a reporter from the Clarion Ledger.
I ain't fit to live, not after what I done.
Godbolt suspected in the murders of 8 people at 3 different locations. A witness says it all stems from a domestic dispute.
For 8 in one incident, it's mind-boggling. There's still a long way to go with this investigation.
In that video, Godbolt says it all started at his in-laws' house during an argument with his estranged wife.
I was having a conversation with her stepdaddy and her mama and her, my wife, about me taking my children home, and somebody called the office.
The family witness says Godbolt's wife and kids escaped, but 3 of her family members did not. Neither did Sheriff's Deputy William Durr, who was responding to a 911 call from the home. Godbolt says he didn't intend to kill the deputy.
My pain wasn't designed for him. He was just there.
At the second location, 2 minor boys were killed, and at the third, a man and a woman. Their connections to the family unclear.
Godbolt will be charged initially with 1 count of capital murder and 7 counts of first-degree murder.
Godbolt has had previous run-ins with law enforcement dating back to 2005.
But God, you know, He forgives you for everything.
Now he could face the death penalty or life behind bars. Chuck Severson, ABC News, New York.
In other national news tonight, the president back in the U.S. today after his first trip overseas. He is now responding to reports on the Russia investigation, tweeting that many of the leaks coming out of the White House are fabricated lies made up by the fake news media. It comes as his son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner is coming under scrutiny. The FBI wants to know why Kushner met with the Russian ambassador back in December, along with retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. Sources familiar with the meeting say Kushner wanted to open a secret communications channel on policy matters.
To have the president's son-in-law, a key player within the Trump organization, trying to establish a back channel with the Russians through a Russian diplomatic facility, you have to ask, well, who are they hiding the conversations from?
That contact came right after U.S. intelligence agencies accused Russia of interfering in the November election. Sources say Kushner is not a target, but agents hope he can provide some insights. Thousands of motorcycles rolled into Washington, D.C. today to honor prisoners of war and service members missing in action. The riders gathered at the Pentagon and rode across the Arlington Memorial Bridge to the Vietnam War Memorial as part of the 30th Rolling Thunder Ride for Freedom. People from all over the world gathered to participate in and watch that parade of motorcycles. There were also several events to honor our military men and women right here on the Sun Coast as well. In Lakewood Ranch, the Gardeners Out East Garden Club dedicating a new memorial to veterans at the Lakewood Ranch Town Hall. The Blue Star Memorial honors local men and women who have served in our armed services. The Blue Star became an icon in World War II, appearing on flags and banners to symbolize someone who is away at war.
We had an entire generation of soldiers come home who were not respected for what they did for their country. And finally, we're waking up to the fact that the military members are actually doing very good for our country. They're helping preserve our freedom. And these kinds of memorials help us remember those who served our country.
The Blue Star Memorial Program started in 1944 in New Jersey. Since then, the National Garden Club has helped create memorials along highways and significant buildings across the country. And just down the street from Town Hall, a party is underway tonight for the holiday weekend. The 2017 Tribute to Heroes taking place on Lakewood Ranch's Main Street. You're taking a live look at Main Street right now. That annual parade will start in less than an hour at 7 o'clock. Thousands are expected to join in on those festivities, and you can see many already lining the street. They want to show their support for our local veterans and heroes. Proceeds from that event will go to the Minnesota Operations Troop Support, among other causes. The festivities are scheduled to wrap up at 8 o'clock. In Sarasota, another show of patriotism at St. James United Methodist Church tonight. The Riverview High School Highland Dancers, the First Brass, the Jacobites, and others coming together for a Memorial Day concert. The concert was held to remember those who gave their all serving for our country. It featured patriotic music by the performers, including the playing of taps and other tributes. With more events planned for tomorrow for Memorial Day, drivers should take notice of the several road closures in Sarasota. Gulfstream Avenue will be closed from Coconut to McCanch Square beginning at 6 a.m. for the Memorial Day Parade. And starting at 8 a.m., Main Street will be closed from Lynx Avenue to Gulfstream. And both Lynx and Osprey Avenues will be closed from First Street to Ringling Boulevard. And warning, vehicles parked on any of those closed roads will be towed. The parade starts at 10 o'clock and the roads will reopen around 12:30. There's also some office closures to keep in mind tomorrow. All government offices in Manatee and Sarasota counties, of course, closed. Sarasota and Manatee County Area Transit will also not be running bus services. However, the popular Siesta Key trolley will continue to operate. Recreation centers, libraries, and the Department of Health will also be closed. In Sarasota County, trash collection will operate on a normal schedule, but in Manatee County, it will be pushed back a day. For a full list of all the events planned to honor our military men and women on Monday, you can visit our website, mysuncoast.com. Well, still to come here on ABC 7, a spike in cocaine coming through South Florida, where authorities say most of the drug is coming from. Plus, the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indy 500, featuring a spectacular crash in the early goings. Stick around.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
ABC 7, My Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch My Suncoast News wherever you are, on our live stream, on our newly redesigned MySuncoast.com, and a brand new ABC 7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing Sight for Life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, and dining with recipes and all the hottest Suncoast restaurants. Visit MySuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab to download the ABC 7 My Suncoast app for iOS and Android.
This is the story of a boy who was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Download ABC 7's official Suncoast weather app onto all your devices so you can stay informed wherever you go. With our full-featured weather app, you get weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, and weather video from ABC 7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. The ABC 7 official Suncoast weather app, sponsored by 1 Hour Air. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download yours today.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
What Florida city is best known for spaceflight?
Cape Carnival.
Cape Carnival? Close enough. What condiment includes vinegar, molasses, and anchovies?
Westchester sauce?
Close enough. And now, a word from our sponsors.
One-off from the Florida Lottery. Now available for pick 2, 3, 4, and 5 games. Miss by one on any or all numbers and still win.
4 boaters are now safe on land after a rescue effort by the U.S. Coast Guard today. The Coast Guard Southeast Division tweeting these pictures of the rescue this afternoon. A Coast Guard airplane first saw the abandoned boat about 25 miles off the coast of Port Canaveral. 2 adults and 2 children were found in the water a short time later. All 4 were wearing life jackets and no injuries were reported. The cause of that accident is under investigation. And crews with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Fire Management District are battling a 120-acre fire that sparked after a static fire test of a rocket by SpaceX early this afternoon. The fire broke out on a small island near the Kennedy Space Center. Helicopters and a plane have been called to the scene to help battle the flames from the air by dropping some water down. So far, no homes or structures have been threatened. The fire is now 40% contained. The rocket is set to launch next week on a mission to resupply the International Space Station. Officials with the Drug Enforcement Administration say traffickers are bringing more cocaine into South Florida now than at any time in the past decade. Customs and Border Protection officials in Florida saying they've confiscated 61% more cocaine last year over the previous year, 2015. That amounts to nearly 10,000 pounds. According to the Drug Administration, 90% of the cocaine seized in the U.S. can be traced back to Colombia. The South American country has tripled its cocaine production in the past few years. Back on the Sun Coast, One Blood is beginning preparations for hurricane season. Local businesses have started hosting blood drives to build up the blood supply for local hospitals before that season begins. The big red bus was parked outside of Walmart on State Road 64 and 53rd Avenue East in Bradenton earlier today. Donors also were able to get wellness checkups while donating blood. It is one of several blood drives planned on the Sun Coast in the coming weeks. There will also be blood drives at Lowe's in Sarasota, Bradenton, and Northport next weekend. So the hurricane prep's already underway, Steve, and we are close to that hurricane season.
Absolutely. On June 1st, Thursday, we'll have a hurricane special here at ABC 7 starting at 7 o'clock. Everything you need to know to be ready for the upcoming hurricane season, which early indications are it could be a little busy.
All right.
Well, what a great Memorial Day. Out in the water today.
It was beautiful.
Moat says the water temperature is 82. I think it was more like 79 or 80. A little chilly, but I enjoyed it. Let's take a look at the webcam looking over Sarasota Bay today. And look at the puffy cumulus clouds. Notice they don't go up very high. They're just a couple hundred feet thick. That's because of strong high pressure bringing sinking and drying air over the state. That's what's keeping the rain away, and that high pressure will eventually weaken as the week progresses. Currently at Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, 85, the dew point 72, so the humidity is coming up. I'm sure you can feel that, and it'll be around tomorrow, but it'll be a beach day. It'll be a great day to get outdoors. Just use the sunscreen. Temperatures across the state right now. Miami currently 92. They broke a record today with 96. Tampa 86 right now, 89 at Fort Myers. And it is roasting in parts of our viewing area. Look at this in Sebring and Lake Placid in the mid-90s, but with that cooling onshore breeze only in the low to mid-80s along the immediate Sun Coast. Well, there is that high pressure that is giving us great holiday weather, but it is also keeping the rain, which we need, away. It will eventually fade in the next couple of days, and we'll tell you about that in a minute. But right now, the trouble spots across the country, Texas. Tornado warning was in effect right there just south of Shreveport in far east Texas. That's a big severe thunderstorm watch across a wide area of Texas and Louisiana. Another trouble spot is from about Fort Wayne, Indiana, Indianapolis, Cleveland, Toledo to Erie, Pennsylvania. And look at all these clouds and rain moving up over the northeast from that warm sector of that system. That's keeping it cool on this Memorial Day weekend. Boston only 61 and kind of dreary, 64 in New York City. But go back in the sun, Montreal 77, 76 in Chicago. And I'll tell you, 83 in Seattle. They are loving it. They go crazy when it gets that warm up there because it's generally a lot cooler and dreary. Well, here is the RPM computer forecast model showing this high pressure staying in place for a couple of days. But look, on Tuesday it fades away, and magically we have the afternoon and evening thunderstorms developing over the interior. That high has kept the sea breeze thunderstorm engine, the one that brings in the Atlantic sea breeze and the Gulf sea breeze, causing collisions and then outflow boundaries. It's a beautiful thing to watch all summer, bringing us regular rain and cooler evenings. Well, I think it's going to kick in. If we move into the long range Futurecast, it takes us right on through Friday. You can see the moisture just keeps getting more and more each day. This is a little overblown, but I just want to show you it's indicating we are going to have more moisture and a greater chance of showers and thunder showers in the afternoon and evening hours as we move through the week. So here are your weather headlines. It'll be sunny on Memorial Day, and we'll also have great weather for beach and boating. And rain will return in just a few days. Hang in there. There's your beach and boating forecast. Northwest winds 5 knots, seas 2 feet or less. Bay and inland waters will have a light chop. The sun is bright. UV index 12. Some of the most intense sunlight of the season right now for the next 6 weeks. So be alert to that. Water temperature, they say, is 82 at Moat Marine. I think it's a little cooler than that. Here's your forecast for tonight. Clear and warmer, 73. The overnight low temperatures with that sea breeze slackening off, and they'll come back tomorrow. And here's the 7-day outlook showing, look at that, a 60% chance of afternoon evening thunderstorms by Wednesday, Thursday 70, Friday 50%. But for tomorrow, it looks like it's a sunny and mild day, high 90. Adam?
Now, sports.
Greatest spectacle in racing in Indianapolis today, the 101st Indy 500. Scott Dixon setting the fastest qualifying lap in nearly 20 years to get on the pole for today's race, but a terrifying wreck 50 laps in will knock him out. Take a look. Jay Howard losing control, hits the wall and careens into Dixon. Dixon's car flipping and landing upside down on the barrier wall. Luckily, both Dixon and Howard were able to walk away from that accident. With 20 laps to go, a favorite to win, F1 driver Fernando Alonso losing power and knocks him out of his first ever Indy 500. In the final laps, Helio Castroneves battling Takuma Sato for the win. Takuma taking the lead in the final 5 laps, and he would go on to win.
It's beautiful. You know, I grabbed something I left over in 2012 and thanks everyone. I can't thank enough to everyone's support.
Sato celebrating his first ever Indy 500 victory. Florida State baseball back in the ACC championship game for a third straight year, taking on North Carolina today. Second inning at Louisville Slugger Field in Kentucky. Tyler Lind sending one deep to right and into the cheap seats. Solo shot puts the Tar Heels up by 1. On to the 8th, 2 on, no outs. The Noles still down 1. Wild pitch from Josh Hyatt allows Taylor Walls to score easy from third, and the game is tied at 3. Same inning, 2 more on for Drew Mendoza, and the freshman first baseman smashes that changeup from Hyatt all the way into right field. Noles take a 4-run lead, and for the second time in 3 years, Florida State baseball is the champion of the ACC tournament. The Nashville Predators boarded their plane for Pittsburgh on Saturday to the cheers of local fans excited for the franchise's first ever Stanley Cup appearance. Head coach Peter Laviolette is now just the 4th coach to lead 3 teams to a Stanley Cup final. But waiting in Pittsburgh is are the defending champs, practicing on Sunday ahead of tomorrow night's Game 1.
I believe we have the type of team that can have success regardless of who our opponent is. And we just have to take what the game presents.
I don't want to talk about any Cinderella story or anything. I mean, we've been working extremely hard and getting everything we've earned.
Nashville could become the first wild card team to win a Stanley Cup since that system was adopted in 2014. And what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? The NBA Finals starting Thursday right here on ABC. And for the first time in NBA history, it's the same 2 teams for a 3rd straight year. Cleveland and Golden State have each won the championship once since 2015. After a weekend practice, Cavs forward Kevin Love addressed those who are labeling Cleveland as underdogs in this upcoming series.
The whole underdog thing is funny to me because, yeah, at the end of the day, we are defending our title when we're trying to repeat, which is so hard to do.
They're the champs, you know, and they're trying to defend that. I think both teams are looking for the challenge of this being a competitive and a memorable series.
It's one of the most star-studded finals as well. A combined 7 All-Stars will be taking the floor on Thursday between those 2 teams. More to come here on ABC 7. Stay with us.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
But is it
It's really just the beginning, right? Have you written a book and want it published but don't know where to start? You're not alone. Page Publishing cuts through the confusion that most new authors face, like copyright protection, barcodes, printing, and digital uploading. We will get your book into bookstores now. We guide you through the publishing maze and help you distribute and sell your work in hard copy and ebook formats. That's right, we will digitize and place your book for sale on Amazon, Apple iBooks, and Google, offering it to millions. Don't waste another minute. Most publishers won't even look at new author submissions, but we're different. We review your book and provide you feedback in about a week. If we decide to publish your book, your work ends and ours begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art, our team gets you into bookstores fast.
Call for your free author submission kit at 800-425-5308.
This Memorial Day, historical collectors can snag a rare Civil War item, a document believed to be the only one with the signatures of President Abraham Lincoln and his Union political and military leaders. The 1861 document bears Lincoln and other Union leaders' signatures. It's now valued at $150,000. Other notable signatures include General Robert Anderson, who led the Union Army in the first battle of the Civil War at Fort Sumter, and Lincoln's Secretary of State William H. Seward. Interested buyers have until Monday if they wish to place a bid on this piece of history. Wow. And if you need an excuse to eat a mouth-watering burger or haven't made dinner plans yet, it is National Hamburger Day. Now, if the first known hamburger patty is said to have originated in Hamburg, Germany, that sounds made up. But eating that burger on a bun is an American tradition. Americans alone eat 50 billion hamburgers per year.
Whoa.
There you go. That's a lot.
Well, aren't we supposed to have hot dogs on Memorial Day?
I think so, but you can sneak that burger in. Today is National Hamburger Day.
And
so
tomorrow will be Memorial Day.
And tomorrow's Memorial Day.
That's a twofer.
So let it fly. Hamburgers and hot dogs. What's more American than that?
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.